All right. Good evening once again, everybody. My name is Alan Iden. We are here at the Winchester High School for the second session of Winchester Spring 2024 Town Meeting, and you have just seen Town Meeting is just adjourned shortly after 9:30 for the night. So let's recap what Town Meeting did tonight. Started with Article 8. Article 8 was to accept an easement from the MBTA to build two culverts under the tracks behind the Morocco School to complete the town's flood mitigation project. That was passed. A lot of discussion on the second one. That was Article 9, to accept a Community Preservation Act, which is a surcharge on real estate taxes. Can be up to 3%. The Select Board is proposing a 1.5% beginning in 2026. These funds have restricted uses. They can be used for acquisition and preservation of open space, historic resources, recreation assets, and affordable housing. The carrot in this case is that the state will match the funds the town collects under these. Now, it's important to know that voters must approve this CPA in November, even as town meeting has approved it. We heard that 196 towns in Massachusetts have adopted this, and none of whom have revoked it after adopting it. Michael Betancourt from the Select Board said many important projects get sidelined in the town for lack of funds. Residents can submit proposals to a CPA committee that evaluates these proposals. Is in Article 10 is names how the committee is to be who is to be on this committee, and that will be taken up next Thursday. So they predict about $8.5 million will be collected in the first 5 years, and of course the state will match that $8.5 million. We heard from the chair of the Conservation Commission saying that 130 acres of conservation land will be preserved in the town and improved, which is about 4% of the town's total area. Winning Farm, Wedge, and Winter Ponds are among those potential users. Other uses are recreational areas, historic preservations of buildings, archival of historic documents. FinCom committee was 6-4 in favor. All the other boards, planning boards, school committee, housing partnership board, all voted unanimously in favor of the article. We did hear a motion to postpone it until after consideration of Article 10, the component of the components of the committee, and that was voted down. So, and it's also important to note the CPA statute allows the towns to exempt from the surcharge the following options: low-income housing or low to moderate income senior housing, all commercial and industrial properties, and the first $100,000 of the value of each residential and or commercial industrial property. Pretty good sales pitch to town meeting. Town meeting approved it by a vote of 132 to 21. Next up was a citizen's petition from Vincent Dixon to name the center train station the John A. Volpe Winchester Center Station. We did hear from, he made the proposal and talked about the historic, as a historian, he talked about John Volpe and his history, former governor of Massachusetts and resident of Winchester. But we did hear from some town meeting members, one of who said it violates the MBTA naming traditions, and another one was uncomfortable with naming a station after a politician. And several others said that it might make the name of the station too long. So that citizen's petition failed. So after recess, came back. Article 18 was to reduce or supplement the FY24 budget from free cash. There were 4 motions on that, all of which passed, mostly housekeeping budgets there to move surpluses or fill deficits from free cash. Article 19, proposed for the EFPBC, the Educational Facilities Planning and Building Committee, was for $145,000 from free cash to update the school's master plan. And we heard from Chris Nixon that the last master plan was done in 2016 and 2017. It was a 10-year master plan. It plans for the best use of the facilities and the changes in enrollment. And all school department facilities, including the Carriage House, Mystic School, and Parkhurst, are included in this master plan. It looks at new construction and employment trends to predict enrollment needs. If approved, they said they will be working over the summer with the consultant to report to town meeting in the fall. And he said that much has changed in this post-COVID era, that it's critical to plan, most critical to plan for the Morocco school rebuild and what the needs will, predict what the needs will be for that reconstructed school. The Finance Committee voted against it unanimously. The school committee, of course, voted in favor unanimously, and town meeting voted at 130 to 20 to pass it. So again, we'll be hearing more about that CPA committee, which is Article 20, next Thursday, a week from today. Capital planning report was Article 21, talked about capital needs being one-time, not recurring expenses. That was accepted. That was basically just to receive of the capital planning report. The capital projects, Article 22, will be taken up next Monday. And that was it for town meeting tonight. Again, CPA, Community Preservation Act, was the largest, probably the most talked about article on tonight's warrant. And it was very favorably looked upon by town meeting, who voted in. So we will be back with our coverage of the next session of town meeting, which will be next Monday. And we will have the coverage here from the Winchester High School. So for all of us on the WinCam team, thank you for joining us. I'm Alan Iden. Have a great night.